Because as a doctor, I got a different perspective.
Right.
This disease is not lethal. Okay, compared to this one, the Ebola or H1N1, those are all much more lethal with 20 to 30% of the mortality rate. So corona mortality is hardly 2 to 3%, even in the worst scenario. But the problem with corona is the transmissibility. The transmissibility is the worst in corona compared to others. If you take HIV, unless you go and have a sex with somebody or have a blood transfusion, it won't come. Here, just by speaking. Initially, it was there sneezing and coughing, but now droplet and even aerosol infection is established. So the transmissibility is lethal. And number two, once you go into that cytokine storm is the phase 3 disease, where the inflammatory protective, that means your own police become your killers. So that is one of the worst pathoanatomy or pathophysiology of this disease. The cytokine storm. The cytokines are the body's defense mechanisms. And those really became storm, and like a whole police battalion have gone onto the streets and burned the whole things, just like that. So that cytokine storm, once it sets, the patient dies within 24 hours. I have seen people dying within 24 hours, young people, 40, 50, 60, without any comorbid conditions. So such is the lethality. Tomorrow it can be you or me. So there is no way we can brush this away as saying another common cold. No doubt it is like a common cold, but the lethality once it affects you is much worse. So that's why there is an understandable panic and understandable concern globally. Number two, the lockdown, whether it is right or wrong, I feel for a country like India with 130 crore population, if lockdown is not there, all of us are not in this podium, I'm telling you. Would have been scurrying for some pavement or somewhere to take care of our brothers and sisters. New York and Italy have gone the same way when they got 100 times better resources than us. By putting the lockdown, we have got 5 important benefits. Number one, social benefit. That means people understood what is this disease and they are prepared. Number two, the sanitizers, the face masks and the social distance concepts became clear. By simply wearing the mask, we can protect ourselves 70%. If 2 people wear masks, each of them, the transmissibility is reduced by 90%. So that itself is a big gain because of the lockdown. On the day of the lockdown, if the lockdown is not there, we don't know what is mask. In fact, in the first 15 days, including me, told that mask is not mandatory. So now it is mandatory. It is known. And number 3 advantage is dexamethasone or steroids have saved the lives. Every 100, there are 70 people are living because of the dexamethasone. On the day one, on January or February or March 24th, before the lockdown, if we have not known that, we would have killed so many people. So in other words, the American lessons, the Spain lessons, Italy lessons have come very handy to us. That itself saved millions of people in India. That is advantage 4. Advantage 5, the whole government setup is not still completely geared. I do agree. But as far as this much preparation, this much awareness, this much readiness for this pandemic is still holding us. So these are the 5 major important points. Imagine without lockdown, we could have been like a New York. New York people has survived because it's New York. The same thing you imagine here. Dharavi slums, they are now the successful case study. They have successfully prevented the transmissibility much better than any part of India. That is because of the contact tracing. That is because of the Dharavi people are also got tested very well. Where we missed the script is the tests have not been done adequately at appropriate time, and contact tracing has not been done. Any pandemic, there is no rocket science. There's only 3 things, 3 T's: treatment, testing, and the contact tracing. The tracing, we missed it. The lockdown has worked very well in the first 3 weeks. The last 2-3 weeks, we should have tested more. The same 50,000 tests now which we are happening, they should have been done at that time. And contact tracing should have been done. Then this thing could not have been there. Another point is, even now, there is nothing like panic. If you take the total population, total death rate, our death rate is much, much lower than any other country. That is because not we are great, because now we got the dexamethasone in our armamentarium. I am treating now, as I talk to you, 150 patients in my hospital. In the 150, there are 20 people only need the ventilator. But I'm very positive 20 out of 20, 15 people will come out because of the steroids. That itself is a big lesson which we got it from the other countries. So which we could have lost it if we are on the day one. If day one the lockdown is not there, the total civil unrest would have happened. Even now, that is one bothering me now. Because all the hospitals are completely chock-a-block. We are now completely full. We don't have beds. 20 patients are waiting in the casualty right now as I talk to you. The government hospitals are full. So these numbers keep on increasing. What we now need now is to tell every 100 doctors of the government, there should be 1,000 counselors should be there with the helplines. They should tell everyone, sir, don't panic, stay at home, quarantine yourself. And these are the indicators. If you got these symptoms, get in touch with the helpline and we will divert you to the proper hospital. That should be there now. So in other words, the government should have a triage system, centralized triage, where there should be minimum 100 helplines, not 1, 2. There will be 100 helplines and there should be a mechanism to answer 10,000 phone calls a day. And these phone calls should be properly channelized to particular. If you got only fever, stay at home. If you got a breathlessness, you got a pulse oximeter. Again, another important lesson, which we got it through the last 4 or 5 weeks, is the pulse oximeter. Pulse oximeter is the best screening tool now more than the temperature. You put it just to the finger. If it goes below 90%, you got to see the patient, your hospital. And you got to have the respiratory oxygen supply. So these are some of the indicators. So by putting a proper helplines, by putting a proper triage, the government can win back the whole situation. It is nothing beyond repair. And another thing is the death rate is hardly 2% in India, which is a very, very laudable. That is because of our innate immunity or whatever the reasons are. And second thing is steroids are saving so many lives. Coming to the vaccines, coming to the antiviral drugs, these are all not going to do anything for you now. Whether Praxivir or some other injection, the vaccine coming the next year, this year, these are all whitewash. Nothing will come. Nothing will change the course of the disease. Nothing will protect you from the disease. There is only one social vaccine, that is washing the hands, putting the mask, and maintaining social distance as much as possible. That social vaccine is all of us. So what all we need is education and counseling and triage and monitoring from the government. That's all what you got to do. Total focus of the media should change. No more highest deaths today. Corona is taking the upper hand. These are all not right. They should now put it, we got to live with Corona. Just like Corona is like mother-in-law. We have to live with mother-in-law. There is no way we can get her out. As simple as that. Okay, you got to live with her. Only thing is we got to know how much respect to give and how much to act as though you are giving the respect. So that's all the important point. So these are my thought process. And lockdown has prevented millions of lives from being taken. Let me tell you, Indian context. I will say lockdown for at least 2 weeks is now needed for Hyderabad government to clean the house. There are a lot of cobwebs. There are a lot of unnecessary mops are there. To clean the house, you need a lockdown. In other words, these 15 days, there should be extensive counseling to the people. There should be, as I told you, there should be a robust helplines. There should be a robust triage methodology. That should be there. For that, you need a lockdown. People, let them go indoors. Let them switch on to the televisions and let them realize these are the things to do. Nobody needs to run to the hospital. But now they're all running. Okay, that has to be prevented. That can be prevented only by another lockdown with a structured program. Just shutting the lockdown and the government not doing anything, it doesn't work. Government has to have a proper plan in place for the next 15 days. In that, the helpline, the counseling and the triage. Triage is very important. That means if one guy says, I got a severe breathlessness, my respiration is falling down to 80%, he should be guided to the nearest hospital, whether it's a private or government. But the government should have a dashboard where each hospital's rooms, ventilators available here. That sort of mechanism. Just like your elections bulletins, you got to have that big dashboard. You should know whether this hospital has got ventilators in real time. Every minute they should be upgraded. And that sort of dashboard should be there. And that needs tremendous IT, tremendous doctors, and tremendous amount of manpower, tremendous amount of direction is needed. Then you need that 15 days lockdown. Then you will win the war. capacity building has been done to reasonable extent. I won't say 100%. 100% is not possible in any democratic country. Okay, capacity building in Delhi, you take Bombay, you take Dar-e-Islam. They have managed to control this virus just because of the system building. Capacity building means does not need a quantification of the beds all the time. It is a robust systems, putting the systems in place also. Now Delhi, there is a 10,000 bed capacity place is there, one side place. So all this is capacity building. And I wish and I pray that the Indian media should be as poised and as elegant and as committed as you are. And that sort of maturity and that sort of analytical perspective, if the media has got, the whole complex will be different. The whole complex, the perspective will be different. And I salute you for your perspective. I wish you continue like this for more years. See, basically the government should now come with a think tank.
Right.
Yeah, think tank need not be, should not be confined only to the government officials. With all due respect to the government officials, sometimes they miss the perspective. So people like Jayaprakash Narayan is there, who was a collector, IAS, an excellent administrator and a doctor himself. So those sort of people like Muralidharan, these people should be roped in and government should form a robust think tank and they should monitor this for the next 60 days on a regular, real-time basis and on a wartime footing. That quarantine, pre-hospitalization and the critical care, all three should be monitored by the government and can be monitored. Only thing is the dashboard should be there and the think tank should be there.